like he's athletic as shit.
Bro, you know a lot of dogs get a bad rap, like pit bulls. They get such a bad rap because people breed bad pit bulls.
Well, and then just when you see one, you're like, I don't. If you don't, especially if you're not a dog person, like
Yeah.
you're not gonna fuck with it, and you're 9 times out of 10 you're probably scared anyways, because you're like, man, those are them vicious dogs,
and not to mention like
and shit, like you know what I mean, like those are vicious dog.
Like, no, they have owners who either raised them to be vicious or they didn't properly socialize them. So they're not used to people that they don't know, or they're just being a good dog.
They typically take on they typically take on the makeup of their owner anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because like the big gooch, he's friendly. Like he ain't gonna bite nobody. But if you were to come knock on my door and because he hasn't met you, he's gonna wake up the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a good dog should do.
Yeah, because what the fuck are you doing here? But if owner comes out and they're there, you can walk in and they're not going to growl at you. They're going to let you pet them if you want to pet them.
Exactly.
You know, yeah. They like I said, they take on the characteristics of the owner.
I'll tell you. We'll get like we're recording, but like we'll actually start talking football in a second. I took Gucci to the vet for like the first time, and the vet goes, your dog was not very friendly with us. You guys need to work on that. I go, he just met you and you stuck needles in him. Do you expect him to like you?
You know, common sense has just gone out the window these days. I think
he's not a heroin fiend.
Well, everyone believes that, you know, everyone should be accepting, including your dog, Lee. It doesn't matter what the situation is. What is your dog human phobic? I mean, like
that's that
he only likes you. Oh, okay.
That's in that Janelle Monáe post to the locker room.
We got to touch on that as well.
You know, just fuck it. We're here.
Well, right. Might as well stay on it, right?
Right. So I see the headline and I go, okay, that's okay. That's what you're doing here. And then I go back and I actually read the post itself, and I go, what are you actually saying now?
You know when white people say to black people, I don't see color. We're just humans.
Yeah.
It's the same rhetoric, and we're supposed to get on board with that because she's a black woman. We're supposed to get on board with that. Just like my Ford F-150. I told you I saw a Ford F-150 that had a fucking bumper sticker that said I identify as a Prius. Who's to tell that Ford F-150 owner that he's wrong? He is driving a Prius if he believes he's driving a Prius. Since everybody wants to act like
that's his truth.
Just do this.
All right, so let me read the post real quick. I'm non-binary, so I just see myself. I just don't see myself as a woman solely. I feel all of my energy. I feel like God is so much bigger than the he or the she said. And if I am from God, I am everything. I am everything. But I will always stand with women. I will always stand with black women. But I just see everything that I am beyond the binary.
God is identified as the Father in the Bible. And a father is typically a man, right?
Well, it depends on where you're at.
Normally, it's a man. And
so you're saying it's abnormal for a father not to be a man?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. You know, I guess my point in bringing that up is that, you know, she said God's bigger than he or she. And it's just like, well, if you believe in it at all, and then for those that do believe in it, the thought is that God is a man. He's omnipotent, right? So like he's everything, right? Like we get it. And so, but he's referred to as he by Jesus himself. Everyone when God is referenced, it's he or father, the father. Like, you know what I mean? Like these pronouns
have no strength over here, buddy.
I don't know.
You know, I just think
Janelle's made her money, I guess. She
just told me she's a black woman. That's what I got from that. Like, I'm a black woman.
Basically.
You know, and if we accept everything, then we accept nothing. And that's just a reoccurring theme that I'm just gonna always put out here on this platform. And I'm not gonna tell anybody how to identify. I'm not gonna tell them what they should do with their lives too often. I will sometimes because that's what I have to do to make this platform work. But
I should start telling motherfuckers I'm a billionaire, and then
hey, tell the IRS you're a billionaire.
might not pay anything.
and see how your tax situation changes.
Might not pay anything.
You got a point. Because they don't.
Exactly.
But you know, I was listening to this this podcast, The Daily, and this young man was talking about his transition from lady to man. And one of the things he talked about was how, as he began going through puberty, he did not like his curves or the tits that he was growing because, you know, he was born a woman and did not feel comfortable being labeled as being viewed as a woman because in his heart he was not a woman. And I go,
this is somebody that's a woman that transitioned to a man.
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I take all of that to say, and I'm not going to speak directly to this person's experience because that's his experience. But I go, I want to like make parallels to try to make myself understand this, or, you know, create a conversation in which somebody who lives that lifestyle is different from mine can at least get a better understanding of where I'm coming from when I question it. Not question it to say that they're wrong, question it to say I don't understand it. And I go, so if I woke up one day and I didn't want to be 5'11", and I feel like I just should not be a 5'11" black man, I should be 6'4". What the fuck do I do? Do I go get surgery to be taller? To say that I do not identify the 5'11" man, I identify the 6'4" man. So I need 5 more inches so I can get there. Pause.
Well, you know what's even crazier, and this is why I love the show Atlanta. Shout outs to Stone Mountain native Donald Glover, also known as Childish Gambino. In the show Atlanta, I don't know how much you've watched it, if you've ever watched it.
I've watched season 1.
Okay, so you was it in first season? Did you see the transracial thing?
I think so.
It was a kid. It was basically a kid here in Atlanta because, you know, shows in Atlanta that, you know, he's a fat black guy with dreads. And he said that he identified as a 40-year-old white man from Colorado. And, you know,
he killed Rachel Dolezal.
He was in the mirror, you know, looking at himself, and, you know, he was, you know, he's like, I try to imagine myself after the transition. Then he's standing in the mirror. He's like, did you guys see Game of Thrones last night? He's like, bartender. He's like, what type of IPAs do you have on tap? Like, and it's funny as fuck.
Right.
It's like, you know exactly what this man, like, you know, why Donald Glover wrote it that way. Because it is one of these ridiculous things where I don't think anyone is saying that you can't feel a certain way.
Right.
I think that we're all accepting of that idea. But I think that there's also a reality to this stuff to where we can't let people believe that Santa Claus is real, really a fat white man that rides a sleigh that goes down a chimney. Santa Claus is your fucking dad, mom, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, anyone that gives you a goddamn gift. That's who Santa Claus is. You're fucking right. Santa Claus. We're all Santa Claus. God damn it. If you've ever given a gift out, you're Santa Claus. And so it's the tooth fairy. Leave a fucking tooth under your pillow. You'll have money under it the next day when you're losing teeth when you're growing up. When in reality, it was just your mom and dad. Or
you know what? They're good to reach under the pillow and not get caught.
Well, at that age, when you're losing teeth like that, I mean, you're a hard sleeper anyways. Alarm don't wake you up. Hell, you don't set an alarm. Your parents wake you up.
Right. and that's another thing, man. And you hit on something where I'm I'm very cautious when we talk about these conversations of identification and making steps to advance it. A kid who I'm not going to talk to about any of my financial investments. I'm not going to talk about whether we should refinance the house, whether we should sell because the market's booming right now and we're in a place to downsize, what type of car I should get, someone who doesn't plan their own day because they go to school and the school tells them what they'll do. And they don't buy their own clothes. And most of them don't even pick them out or iron them or wash them. I go, but you want to change your body for the rest of your life? I'm not against you choosing to change your body, but I will say, hey, as a 14-year-old, we don't let you make many long term life
I know exactly
decisions.
who you're talking about.
I'm not talking about anybody in particular.
Oh, well, it fits the profile of someone.
I mean, but it was actually goes with this thing I listened to yesterday. But it's one of those things where I go, are we sure we should allow kids to dive deep into these decisions so early? Because I've read about different cases where children choose to make a transition and then they want to transition back, but they have the social pressure pulling on them to be what they thought they were, and then some of the physical stuff can't necessarily be undone. We've created an imbalance because of the way we've moved things around. And I go, just are we sure? Like, I'm not saying the answer is no or the answer is yes. I'm like, dog, at 14, I didn't know shit from shit.
I think that law, because law intervenes, it seems like everywhere else. I You can't fucking buy tobacco until you're 18, right?
No, I
You
think it's
can't buy
21 now.
alcohol. You can't. Oh, is it 21
I
now?
think tobacco's 21 now.
It was 18. You can't buy alcohol till you're 21 here in the United States, at least. Obviously, it differs in different countries or whatever, but you can get drafted at 18 or whatever. And I guess my thought is just this: we set these parameters for this stuff for a reason, I'm gonna assume. And so if the parameters are set on that stuff, because those are those are definitely life-changing things as well. They are decisions that we make on our own too, right? I mean, we decide if we want to drink. When you get that age, if you're drinking, there's the effect it has on your liver. There's things where you can affect other people's life, whether that be drinking and driving. You can't drive a fucking car until a certain age either. Like, you've got to be at a certain age to get a driver's license. So I guess my thing is, why is it that that's not something that's been placed in the law? And it not just necessarily be a United States law, but an international kind of law, to where we're okay if you want to do it, but you got to wait till this age, 18, 16, even 16, whatever. Whenever, I think that you need to almost be fully developed, whatever that age would be considered. Once you're fully developed, then you can make the decision. If that's what you want, go ahead. Like, I'm too worried about getting a motherfucker hired tomorrow to start on the stand-up reach in Ontario, California. I'm not worried about this person's body. But I'm just simply saying, too, we've got to really sit down and examine these things.
And I was having a conversation with my sensation yesterday, co-host of Big Baby's podcast when you're not here. And I was like, we used to have societal standards. And don't get me wrong, a lot of them were fucked up, but we had societal standards. And now I think we're getting to a point to where there's no longer a standard. So we don't even know like where the middle ground is, or like what the starting point is of acceptable versus what's like not acceptable. Because now if I don't accept something, I hate it. And I go, no, I don't hate it. I'm just not into it. There's a difference.
Well, there's a thin line at this point to where it's not even necessarily that it's not acceptable, right? It's more of so that's how you feel. And now it's supposed to define you as a person based on somebody else's opinion of you. And you can't stop somebody from having an opinion, but at the same time, it's just kind of like we've got to have a standard. A lawless society in general would mean that this world would run wild. I mean, if we didn't have stop signs, there'd be stop signs, stop lights. There are accidents already every day. Yeah. And so imagine there's no standard out in the streets. Dude, there's people, motherfuckers would have to be. Everybody would almost have to be their own farmer.
People need to read the Leviathan. I think one of the things that's hurt our society is that we don't read anymore. We've taken civics out of school. I mean, don't let me sound like the old man, but the Leviathan talks about the state of nature versus the state of war. And if I remember correctly, it pretty much says that people are naturally in the state of war, and we need social constructs to put us in the state of nature. Like we need religion, we need laws, we need government. Not too much of it, fucking socialist, but we need these constructs to make us function at our best. And I think we're getting to a point to where we are so upset with the institutions that govern us that we're trying to take away all of it to say, no, these things the lines need to be redrawn because they were too far one way to favor a few different people. And we need to redraw them so that they're a bit more accepting of others. But that doesn't mean we need to get rid of them. Like defund the police. Defund the police is a great idea if you know what defund the police actually means. Defund the police does not mean leave them with no money, have no police. All it means is let's look at police budgets. Let's reallocate funds for things that maybe police shouldn't be doing. Like, hey, if I'm about to kill myself, do I really need the cop? Mr. Beat Cop driving around being the guy who's talking me off the ledge? Probably not. I'm pretty sure a counselor would do a better job at helping me get to a happy place. Not the same guy who sticks his knee in somebody's back for, I don't know, drinking underage or fighting in the street. And I'm not anti-police. I support good policing. But at the same time, do we need police with semi-automatic weapons and battering rams? Probably not.
And like you said, too, when it came to, transition and stuff, or just things of that nature, you're either for it or against it, right? That's how society wants to paint the picture on it. But the thing is that even for me, politically speaking, right, government, I don't I don't identify as a Democrat or a Republican, and I'm not an independent. So it's like, for me, you want to talk about if you want to redo some stuff, let's erase these titles even. Let's just get the two candidates that everybody wants, and then everybody makes their decision, because obviously there are Republicans and Democrats that agree with each other on certain issues.
Most of them agree with each other on most issues.
Yeah, it'll be petty, not even petty dumb shit. It'll just be shit that drives the mob insane, civilians.
Abortion.
Yeah, these are things that people have different thoughts on, but I feel like there's even swayed that, like, people are swayed one way because they grow up a certain way, which even it could tap into religion even that way, because a lot of people, if you grew up Christian, you're going to grow up believing that God, Jesus, like, you're going to believe the Bible, right? But if I was born in India, maybe I believe in Buddha. It's not because Jesus isn't really the Lord and Savior, right? It's because I was born in India, and that's what I grew up, and my parents never lied to me. That's who raised me. That's who's done everything for me. And if they thank Buddha for this, how am I to believe that Buddha is not the real God, is not really God? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I totally agree, because,
and same growing up, if you grew up in a Republican household, you believe that being conservative right wing is the right way. You know what I mean? Some people get to the point, even within both of those, politics, religion, to where you do grow up and you do make your own decision, right? Which is the beauty.
And here's what I love about our friend group. I am willing to bet that everyone in the locker room group text, the core of their values come from their upbringing, like at the root.
For sure.
But the lifestyles that we all live and the values that we live by have been much more shaped by our life from, let's say, 2010, 2011 to now, because we took what was our root, and some of the stuff we've experienced reaffirmed that. And then some of the stuff we've experienced was like, hey, either my parents were tripping or we grew up in a different era. Sorry, like, I don't identify with this shit you're talking about. Here's my beliefs, and here's the beliefs that I stand on. And I honestly don't really want to debate it with you, because you're not going to change to my side. I'm not going to change to your side.
But we can agree.
Still love you.
But I still love you, right? And then we can still agree to disagree. Just like we don't, even in the locker room, we don't all agree on the same thing. You know, whether it's on that level or
sports.
It could be a sports take. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Or
it could be treatment of women. Like,
and that's what makes us our own individuals. That's what makes us individuals. And it's a beautiful thing, because then that's when you're not trying to be like somebody else, because you're not just listening and doing whatever it is that, you know, society says you should follow into. It's like, well, if you grew up this way, this is how you're supposed to be. You went here, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You know, just these norms that have been created. And those are the packagings that I think should be busted out of. I don't think that we should be trying to tell people at 12, you know, I know that society says that it's normal for boys and girls to be together. I mean, hell, that's how you're here for the most part. And even if you're not here via a boy and a girl, it still took a man's semen and a woman's eggs to get you in this position, because that's natural. That's how that is how that works. And so there's no debating that. You know what I mean? But like, there are things that, yes, we could, as a society, look at and change.
Let me throw something at you. And I think, Joe Budden was talking about this week. We're now in a place that if you are an oppressed people and you put out your feelings on your oppression and why you're oppressed, the oppressor cannot tell you you're wrong, even if you are.
Well, facts. And I think that the thing is that even with that, right? Mm-hmm. That's how, you know, there are people that say if you're black, you can't be racist.
Bullshit.
But I'm saying, and when I said facts, I'm saying, okay, like, I understood. I didn't mean like.
I know what facts. I know what you mean by facts. Because you hire people, right?
Yes.
Which means that you are in a position of power. And people talk about you can't be racist if you're not in a position of power. Well, you're in a position of power for the organization that you run. If you always allowed your black bias to guide your decision making, and then somebody files a lawsuit and says that you're racist, and they pull up your hiring practices and they look at your applicants versus the people that you hire, and it goes, well, 97% black, and then they actually look at the qualifications, and then you have, like, say, 75% of underqualified black people get jobs, and then you have a large population of overqualified white people who are applying for jobs who aren't getting them. It goes, those are racist hiring practices. I don't care if he's black, white, brown. I don't want to see any other colors because I don't want to offend anybody.
I think that, and then, you know, I love that we're talking about this, which this is a great clip to cut all in general. How we've opened this up. It's crazy how we went from Janelle Monáe.
Well, the thing is, this is what we wanted to do with the podcast, and like show people, hey, we're not just sports ramblers, like, and shit about life,
entertainment, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, then it gets even deeper into classism, which to me, in a weird way, I feel like that is more relevant than race. I feel like race is only broken down even more depending on the class.
Race matters when you're poor.
In every class, right? Like in the upper class, the really rich people, it is about money mainly, but there could definitely be, like, there are definitely some white people that are like, man, fuck Jay-Z. like fuck Kanye West. You're still
New Slaves?
Yeah. But that's my point. And for him, somebody that wanted to specifically, even with that song, somebody that wanted to get into that industry, and he's like, they're like, this nigga don't know nothing about it, even though he's got his own flavor and he's, you know, doing the research. He's looking at the texture. He's feeling them. He's knowing the difference, right? Whether it's self-taught or just there was somebody in the industry that took him under his wing, and then he's able to negotiate, get a deal himself directly with, for all intents and purposes, a fashion house. Adidas is fashion. At the end of the day, it still is fashion. It's all clothing. So he's under something. They took a chance on him. It's worked out well for him and them. I would say that his shoes are the most popular Adidas that are sold. And so it's like, he's the only nigga whose shoes selling out like Jordan's.
Him and Virgil.
Yeah, one thing about it, and Virgil is
right,
Nike. And so, and these are two guys that are buddies. Well, we're, rest in peace, Virgil, but like we're buddies. They came up together. They were interns together. Like, even though Kanye was already an established star in the music industry, he still interned. He didn't get, and maybe he did get paid. I don't know, but like he interned. Like most people.
Right, he didn't show up like these athletes do when they want to be on TV. Just show up and say, "Hey, I did this, this, and this." So that means I know how to talk into a microphone and into a camera.
Paul Pierce didn't intern at ESPN. They hired him because he was Paul Pierce. And Kendrick Perkins didn't fucking intern. They just hired him. Ryan Hollins, they hired him. He got fired too because they realized, my goodness,
I'll tell you,
just hired any fucking athlete to do this.
Hey, Kendrick Perkins though. Kendrick Perkins. Let me tell you about Kendrick Perkins a little bit.
Who, Perk?
Yeah, Perk did the media thing because he wanted to show people that he understands basketball more than centers get credit for, especially a center of his ilk, right? And
he started for a long time. He was probably a starter in the NBA 7-8 years.
Yeah, but he wasn't good. I mean, he was
a championship center.
Right. No, he did what he was supposed to do, but I mean, like he wasn't Patrick Ewing and that type of center.
Best, know your role and shut your mouth. And that's what he did. Well, he was a loud talker, but I'm saying he knew his role.
But Perk said that he was using media as a means to get into coaching. And then he started doing the media and they kept calling him back. And now if you listen to Perk, Perk's not bad. Perk's actually pretty good. And if you listen to the Swagoo and Perk podcast,
he's gotten better.
Yeah, like, and if you listen to,
not a huge fan, he sucked at first. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, well, no, yeah, like his voice,
Young Thug music sucked. Like that shit was fucking. It was garbage. It didn't just grow. I mean, he got better. Is what happened.
Ooh.
Young Thug, like still like the worst track today. To me, that is like still one of the. That song fucking sucks. I don't care what nobody says. But no, you bring up a valid point, and even saying that with somebody like him, because it is kind of like. But then there's some people that naturally, when you hear him talk, you're like, man, he'd be really good at this. I.e. Charles Barkley, i.e. Shaquille O'Neal, i.e. Draymond Green. These are guys when they're talking, you're like, not only are they knowledgeable, they have a personality. They have something that will draw people to them. They might have not. Now, granted, Shaq and Charles are Hall of Famers. Shaq arguably, he's definitely best center of his generation. Charles is a member of the Dream Team, the greatest basketball team ever assembled. Draymond is a part of the most recent dynasty in the NBA and great defensive player. But Draymond is great. Like, bro, I can't wait for Draymond when he does retire to do it. And he's going to take Charles Barkley's spot, obviously, eventually on TNT. It's going to be Draymond, and Draymond's going to fucking crush it. Because
another guy, JJ Redick. Like when JJ first started his
podcast is unbelievable.
When he first started his podcast on The Ringer, I listened to it one time. I go, oh, he's good.
And people forget too, he's a Duke guy. So it's not like
people like him.
Like it's not like the motherfucker was just not going to class or something. Like I bet Zion's ass. Let me not even do the Zion.
Don't do that because it's gonna be a race thing.
Going to class like that, because Zion, if he could have, he would have just came straight out. If he could have,
Zion wanted to go back.
Just like, and I hope I'm not on a transition. Just like Kyler wanted to win a Super Bowl with the Cardinals, right?
Man, let's get it. Kyler the crybaby, man. Man, you throw the oop, I gotta catch it.
Hey. It worked out perfectly. Memphis is down 7, nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, I knew they would come back. And Patrick Beverly's
just up 20 fucking 6-7 points.
Yeah, but like
they should not be.
The Timberwolves are led by Cat. You have to understand a team led by Cat will eventually go to the litter box.
I don't know.
You know what I really should have said? I really should have said a team led by Cat will get fucked.
Oh, you mean like a team led by Kyler?
Yeah, man. Kyler's a crybaby, man. So, we've talked about
Kyler, the creator. He creates drama for his own fucking organization.
All he does is create drama and problems. And, Larry Fitzgerald had comments about him getting too much too soon. AJ Green, did you hear the AJ Green comments?
No, but did you hear the comments by Kyler when, he got drafted by the A's?
No, what did he say?
He said, I'm playing baseball. And then out of nowhere, he decides he wants to play football. So that could just show you the dynamic of a person like Kyler Murray. What he says doesn't – he's a flip-flopper.
And you know what? He was able to pay back his signing bonus because he had to give that back. So either his agent made it happen
on the other side as a quarterback.
Right. Either the agent made it happen or he just set that money in the account just in case, which meant I might. And this is how corrupt the NCAA is. He played a whole season with his like $8 million signing bonus as a college athlete, and that was okay. But before the NIL stuff happened, motherfuckers couldn't get paid or couldn't work jobs.
They can now, finally, I guess.
I know, but yeah. So Kyler Murray, it came out and said, or his agent said, or report said that he won't play with the new deal. And before we get into the response to that, let me tell you, Kyler Murray, you've not earned a new deal. You've not earned to get signed early. Okay, you've been a little bit better than Baker Mayfield because your numbers are good and you talk a lot less, which may be your problem. You're not a leader. But Baker had to play out his contract. The guys who got new contracts? The guys who got new contracts, Jared Goff got his team to a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz was on his way to winning an MVP. His team won a Super Bowl even though he got hurt. Josh Allen, a guy who is, a top 3 quarterback in this league right now. Patrick Mahomes, an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP. Maybe.
He's top 5 for sure, but just saying, is he actually?
I don't know if he's top 10, but it sounded good. It's the top 3. It sounded good when I said it. But Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. He got his deal early. Deshaun Watson made Houston functional, stopped playing. They sucked. Guess what? He got a deal early. Kyler, you haven't thrown for 4,000 yards in a pass-friendly league. You haven't thrown for 30 touchdowns in a pass-friendly league. You haven't finished a whole season in a league where the quarterback can't get touched. Why the hell would I pay you early?
Talent always wins out, in my opinion. And that's the issue now with the NFL. Now talent's no longer winning out. Now it's really FOMO. I don't want to miss out on the opportunity of having somebody. Michael Vick fucking went to jail for basically 2 years on federal dogfighting charges.
No. Do not say that. It was money laundering. That's why they got him. It wasn't the dogfighting.
Well, exactly. Well, so then there you go. Point being is dogfighting. That's what the society says, dogfighting. So he did that. Now, he got a $100 million contract with the Falcons. I think if I remember, it was a 10-year, 130 was the deal. Because I remember it because I'm like, oh, shit, that's crazy. He got the highest NFL contract at the time. He was making $13 million a year on average.
Yeah, he got.
And it was a 10-year deal, which is until Pat Mahomes. Honestly, I hadn't seen a 10-year deal in the NFL. But that goes to show Arthur Blank's commitment to Mike. Nonetheless, all that shit happens. He gets arrested, money laundering, federal charges, 22 months. This motherfucker comes out is a fucking really third string. McNabb called. They get rid of McNabb.
No. Don't say they get rid of McNabb. They trade him in division.
But I'm saying they were all on the team 1 year.
Right, I remember.
Then the next year they move on Call. Call gets a concussion in like the first game. Vic never turns back, finishes season. They go to playoffs, 11-5. gets another $100 million contract. Talent always wins out when it comes to this stuff. And like, to me, with the NFL today, that isn't the case. Now it's well, I've done this, and because I've done this, and because that guy's getting this, you really don't have much of a choice but to pay me. And Kyler is in that position. Because Kyler went to the playoffs last year, and the Cardinals were practically the number one team going into like week 13. They had the best record in the NFL. They were better than everybody. Now, Kyler was also hurt. He missed games, not to mention the year before in a do-or-die game to go to the playoffs between them and the Rams. There's two backup quarterbacks. The starter for the Rams, Jared Goff, definitely isn't playing. And then, you got your backup that's playing and you're dressed out, but you don't get into the game until 7 minutes into the fourth quarter. Motherfucker, ain't nobody trying to pay you, bro. Why'd you even dress out? If you want,
remember, he didn't rush
in the beginning, and then if you can't do it, get out, and then that's it.
And remember, in the playoff game, he had a career low rushing in the playoff game for all the marbles.
Well, they got blown out too. Let's not forget. Now, granted, the Rams won the Super Bowl, but they got blown out, and I just think that a guy like Kyler Murray, he's already small. He's not that good of a quarterback. He's dynamic, right? I guess he can do a lot of things. But in reality, I don't see why he thinks he's no different than Baker Mayfield, in my opinion.
He is no different than Baker Mayfield because he was named by Lincoln Riley. He had to transfer for a reason. Okay,
right.
And it wasn't Joe Burrow having to transfer because of recruiting politics, and I don't want to get into RIP Dwayne Haskins. We're going to keep it there, but it was recruiting politics is why Joe Burrow did not.
They were just so stacked at quarterback at Ohio State. I mean,
but 1 second, man. You look at a guy. Okay, he played 16 in 2 seasons, 16 full games, 14 in his last season. 3,722, 3,971, 37,877, 20 touchdowns, 26 touchdowns, 24 touchdowns. Touchdown to interception ratio is at a 2.
What are his rushing stats, too, out of curiosity? Because that is
rushing stats. Give me 1 second.
Does he have over 700 yards rushing and over 8 touchdowns rushing in any season?
Let's get to rushing. Rushing 544, 819, 423. Rushing can't go down in year 3, buddy.
So, all right, in the 819 year, how many touchdowns rushing?
11.
Okay. He did have that was a good year then.
Yeah, that is a good year. I can't even shit on year 2. Year 3, though, 5 rushing touchdowns.
See, he declined, though.
He declined.
He declined.
He declined his yards. Hold
on. In year 3.
His yards per game went down by 20.
So think of it this way, because like I said, and that's why I just compared him to Baker. Baker looked phenomenal too one year. He did. Baker had a really good season. And that's why the Steelers would be willing to get him. I think that Baker isn't God. I don't think Baker's that fucking bad. I really don't. I don't think he's that bad.
He's just not good enough for me to pay him $30 million a year.
Yeah, I'm not paying him that. But if the Steelers can get him for based on the new quarterback market, give him a 2-year, 40, basically kind of give him a Jameis Winston type deal.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Like I think that makes a lot of sense. Because that's basically what Jameis signed with the Saints. It was like 2 years, and it could escalate up to like 45, 48 or something. And so I think that's the type of situation that a Baker's in. Now, Kyler is in a unique situation because Arizona has to look at themselves and say, well, damn, what do we do at quarterback even if we don't pay the motherfucker? I don't know. And then how does the fan base feel? Not that the fan base has anything to do with running a business, because nobody cares about how they feel.
No one cares about how
you have to care about the fans, but you don't have to give a fuck about the fans. Because if you do, your franchise probably sucks anyways. And so, yeah. And like, so I've never known a franchise, even though I think it will be a hell of an idea if you really identify, and I'm talking about you look at people and who's gone to games. I know it sounds crazy. People that, tenure, gone to games, they can show like their credentials, and you interview them as an organization to hire a fan to be a part of the front office. I know it sounds crazy, kind of like how the NFLPA exists. What about the NFLFA? And you do have kind of a fan voice in there, not to necessarily say, oh, this is who we should draft, or even, oh, we have to pay them or give them free tickets, whatever. Because at that point, if you're that invested into the team and you're truly kind of looking at stuff and you can be in on it, like, I think it could be a good idea, low key, to do something like that. Like,
and you know what? I like that because a fan is more invested. A true fan is more invested in the success of a franchise than a lame duck coach or lame duck GM.
And players.
Yeah.
And there are certain stuff like for real, think about it. We're not capologists. We don't really know how the cap works. That's why the Rams can just sign whoever they want, it seems like. But nonetheless,
the Mitroff isn't a capologist either.
But if you're a fan and you get to get the inside look, and you set it up to maybe where it doesn't have to be, it could be some continuity there too. Maybe it's a 3-year thing. You really do get a fan involved. Now, they don't truly have a vote or say so. The GM's got a job. He's getting paid. Coach has a job. He's getting paid. But to have them in on the process and then at least hear the fan out. Now, it's just one fan out of, you want to sell out a 70,000, 75,000, 80,000.
Here we go.
Wouldn't it be good to have that? And then they can eventually have, even with them, a board of regents or whatever of fans where there are 10 fans, some that sit in the 300, some that do pay all the money to be in the bitch, some that sit on the 100. And you base this stuff off of, obviously seniority, I think should come first. Like, I mean,
seniority and a competency exam.
But yes, and that's where the organization can say, you know your stuff. Like, I'm not saying the Falcons would pick somebody even like myself, right? But I'm somebody that I could truly tell. I'm like, look, I've been going to games my entire life. I travel to see you guys all the time. I read the Falcoholic.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Bro, we made it 42 minutes.
You can be on, just be in the room and just get to at least hear this stuff, be a part of it, and they can at least hear out the fan presence. I think that it's unprecedented, crazy enough, but it's like the fans spend all this fucking money and we don't really have any say so, right? And like I said, I'm not saying, because at that point, sign a fan to be the GM, right? But
hey, listen to this. Think about this right here. We could have told the Hawks front office, and they made the decision that works best for the city, the Trey versus Luka thing, right? Many will say Luka's the best player, and sure, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if Luka's the better player or if Dallas is the better ran franchise right now, right? But I'll say
more success recently.
Yeah, true.
I know the Mavericks won the title in 2011, but if we talk the last 5 years, the Hawks have been
right. But we know that the city likes Trey more than the city would ever like Luka. Luka would have to win championships. I say chips in order for the city to rally around him the same way that the city rallied around Trey. Because guess what? Hey, Atlanta wants a black superstar. Baseball, because it's Cobb County, your Freddie Freemans, they get to ride out. But let's be real. Acuna is the guy.
Too.
Who?
Braves know their fan base.
Right. The Braves know their fan base, but guess what? Acuna is the guy. Like, I was watching MLB TV the other day. Whose jersey was up in their little thing set up? Acuna. I think that this was when Freddie Freeman left, there was also them choosing Acuna and Albies, the young guys, over Freddie. Because did you see the Acuna live that came out when he talked about where Freddie like wiped the eye black off his face?
Yeah, he was like, that's not the Braves way.
Right. And Acuna was like, I would never do that to a young guy. Like, now that I'm a vet, like, we're going to let our young guys express themselves.
Well, and he's just said, in general, I'm not going to miss Freddie.
Yeah.
I miss him. And I don't think that that means that he didn't have love for Freddie. They were still teammates. These guys, and obviously there is the language barrier too. And he's a black, for all intents and purposes,
Black Cuban.
Yeah, and Freddie's a white guy from California that's Canadian, and so it's like.
But also he was like the guy, came
in. But Ronald Acuna knew that he was also up next, that the baton was going to be passed to him. Now with Freddie's taking the values of Chipper, but Chipper's also a white guy too. They're the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yes, he's like, man, this is how Chipper gave it to me. And Chipper could say, Maddox, Smoltz, these guys, this is how they told me.
Bobby.
Dale Murphy, like these guys, this is who I got it from. And this is what they told me. This is what the Braves are about. Braves, for all intents and purposes, Braves are America's team. This is the team that was on. Everybody grew up watching the Braves because they were on TV.
You didn't have a choice.
And so, I think that it gets lost in translation. I'm not saying that Freddie, because Freddie only 32. It's not like Freddie's old as fuck. But Freddie,
play with Chipper.
That's what type of player Freddie is too.
Right.
Freddie is a
play the game. He's a play the game the right way white boy from baseball, which is the reason why America's losing.
Traditionalist.
Right. And that's why America is losing interest in baseball, because you got the people who want to play the game the right way and the analytics. Conversation for another day, because as somebody who grew up playing baseball, I absolutely love baseball. I like stealing bases. I like Kenny Lofton. I like Bernie Sanders. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not Bernie Sanders.
I like Dion and these guys wearing the gold chains like you got on now. That shit is swaggy. It adds flavor to the game. You don't have to not have any armbands on and still not be at least respectful of the tradition of baseball.
Hey, the tradition
it adds your personality to the game. The gold chains, that's like saying a motherfucker, with dip in his mouth or some shit. That's like that shit's baseball tradition. Like you can only have that or a big wad of gum in your mouth. I can't have my flavor and do my chain. Have, if you're Ozuna and have the neon sleeve that's had nothing to do with the color of the tank. Like it's cleats being fucking Jordans. I mean, I know Jeter was Jordan, but I'm saying like.
But Jeter could get away with it. You remember they got mad at Bryce Harper.
The Yankees in general.
You remember when Bryce Harper showed up to his first All-Star game in gold cleats, and they were like, how dare he show up in gold spikes?
Yeah, it's the equivalent of, it's not the equivalent, but how people criticize President Obama for wearing a khaki suit, which was a clean fucking suit, but because it wasn't blue or black, everybody's got a fucking issue with it. He didn't show up wearing a fucking lime green suit, guys. Like, he wore a khaki suit. It looks business still at the end of the day. People wear khakis. Like, these are the things, though. Like,
President Joe Biden wears khakis every day that he's not being seen publicly.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Like a Dockers ass nigga.
How many suits do you think Donald Trump has?
3.
You think he wears the same? Come on, that motherfucker. I mean, I get it. I know it's them niggas. They do. It's like, because what difference do it make? I'm loaded. Like, so what difference does it make, right?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I don't think much about him other than he's hilarious.
Every time you see that motherfucker, he has a suit on. So it's kind of like,
yeah,
he looks like he lost in a suit. Like, you know what I mean? Like
suits, in a long tie, very long tie.
Yeah, and some people think that he's a diva, and it's wicked because I'm one of those people that doesn't. But some people think that he's kind of a little diva.
Who?
Donald Trump.
I think he's a germaphobe, so I think all germaphobes are divas.
Size of his hands, all this other stuff.
A little clammy. So, speaking of divas, let's talk about Deebo and the Divas. So we got some weird wide receiver stuff going on this offseason. We got Tyreek Hill, who did not like the money that was being offered in Kansas City, so he chose more money in Miami. No state taxes. Can't blame him. He had this ring
in a year.
Yeah, 30 million a year average. He has his ring.
And you get to live in Miami.
Yeah,
Did you say that already?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
look,
okay.
I was in Kansas City for work the other week. It was awful, and I have to go back next week.
Good barbecue, though.
Oh God, some of the best brisket I've had in my life.
Come on, man. There's some stuff to like there.
Yeah, good barbecue. But guess what? I'd rather have Cuban sandwiches and Cuban cuties than fucking brisket.
That's fair. I mean, it's fair. Look, it's fair. South Beach,
Key West is right there.
Zendaya County or Wade County.
Broward County.
I fucked that up. But nonetheless, I said Zendaya County. No, yeah, I'm fucking around. Go, man, go.
I mean, but shit, Zendaya will probably come visit him in Miami. She ain't coming to Kansas City, bro.
Well, that's true. That's true. She's more likely to be spotted there than there.
Right, like you can catch her on South Beach. In Kansas City, bro, you're paying for everything. I mean, you are paying out the ass for that trip.
Really? What do you mean you're paying out the ass to go to Kansas City? What does that mean?
I'm saying if Tyreek Hill wanted Zendaya to come visit him in Kansas City,
he's paying out.
Yeah.
You were saying that you paid out the ass. I'm like, what is business?
No. That was business. I paid nothing out of my own pocket for that trip.
And plus, I just imagine it would be cheap.
Yeah,
being there. I'm saying,
it was, but nonetheless, we had Tyreek move. Then we had
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams choose his college teammate Derek Carr over
the great Aaron, the back-to-back MVP, Super Bowl MVP.
Maybe he chose Vegas.
Arguably the greatest by eye test, in my opinion, outside of maybe Peyton Manning, maybe the greatest quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean,
he freezes up in big games in the playoffs. I get it, but but
you know what?
Maybe he doesn't even freeze up. He just doesn't get the job done.
You know why he freezes up sometimes?
His team really isn't that good, or they have been in the past, in my opinion.
And because it's fucking cold in Green Bay in January.
Yeah, it could be, but that's the advantage. I mean,
it's not an advantage for the Packers because the Packers like to get out and throw the ball. Aaron Rodgers wants to throw the ball 35, 40 times. And when you're playing in the cold and it's 1 degree, look here, man, you do not want to catch a football when it's 1 degree.
Well, what's the excuse against the Falcons in the NFC Championship game?
We were just a better team.
We were the better team, but still, well, that's why we were playing at home. But I'm just saying, in those situations when he was on the road, San Francisco, I'm sure it wasn't cold. It might have been a little windy.
Once Aaron Rodgers is down, it's over with.
He's out.
Yeah.
But then he could be up like he was in Seattle in Bull League. So I just.
Well, his
do we give Russ credit? Come on.
No, his hands team didn't help him either.
They shouldn't have been in that position. I should have never even got to that point.
I mean, but sometimes you end up in a position and it's the right position. I
think Russ threw 5 interceptions in that game. But guess what? He made the fucking play in overtime to, was it Lockett or?
Look, you're not going to get a Russ compliment out of me, so stop fishing for it.
Yeah, I am fishing for it.
I know you are. And sometimes you go fishing like my friend Kyle did today, and he didn't catch shit.
All right. And I respect that, and that's a great analogy. But I don't know. I guess either way, and I guess you could say that Aaron Rodgers is a bit of a diva too, but
he's my favorite diva.
Is leading the class right now.
Deebo, you know what? Let me turn off the NBA for a second. Let's look at Deebo. Deebo had a breakout season.
He did. It was a great year. He did.
Great year.
And he had a good postseason too.
I mean, one of my friends traded him in fantasy football. And
what was the trade? Do you remember?
I got Deebo. I got Michael Thomas.
And I think Leonard Fournette.
I got Leonard Fournette.
And what'd you give up?
Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson only or something?
I think it's Antonio Gibson only or Antonio Gibson and somebody on the bottom of my roster.
Yeah, like just another wide receiver so that, he doesn't have to wave the wire somebody.
Yeah, and so we made that trade, me and my good friend. My friend made that trade. I didn't say I was involved in it, but nonetheless.
I think I remember that trade being initiated and the group talked about it.
Oh yeah, no, I got raked over the coals for that trade. Like it was some guy in our group who didn't make the playoffs. I don't know him. I don't know his face. Don't care to meet his face.
Yeah, because that was actually not even the locker room. That was the group text.
How was that group text? And he came on and said, he was like, "Who is Big Baby's Bottles? How dare you make that dumbass trade?" I go, "I run my team. You run your team, okay?" And I got beat
pretty well.
And I got to the championship. I got beat by Dell, which is just an albatross.
How that happened, but
I mean, you know,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little disappointed, not in you, but in just the league.
Dell won. Dell should not win.
Dell's team was so fucking trash all year.
They got, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I scored more points than Dell, so I'm like,
Amon-Ra.
I had a down year.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, or whatever his name is. He went crazy. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. But anyways, we're saying all of this to say Deebo Samuel has requested a trade. And there's speculation as to why. He wants to get paid. He wants to be the highest paid non-quarterback. Nigga,
that was the trade, by the way. I'm sorry. I had to look it up. I'm the friend he's talking about, everybody.
Oh, yeah,
that was actually the trade. I traded you Leonard Fournette, Michael Thomas, Deebo Samuels. Michael Thomas ends up not playing. Leonard Fournette literally starts going off the moment I trade him. He literally becomes a top, definitely 10. I mean, he might have even been in the top 5. When I traded you Deebo was 3rd, but I had just swindled Dell because Dell had Deebo. I gave him one of the, what was that Ravens running back that became basically irrelevant after 4 games?
I know
he's a running back. I forgot his name. Well, look, that's how irrelevant he is. It wasn't fucking Devontae Freeman. It wasn't. It was somebody. It was
Latavius Murray.
Any more run?
Was it Latavius Murray?
Hold on. Nah. It wasn't even him. Hold on. Because I typed in Tyson Williams.
Who the hell is that?
Yeah, man. He was the starter on week 1 in that Raiders game. If you remember that Raiders game, the first Monday night game.
Yeah, I just can't believe Dell would do something stupid like that.
He needed a running back. Tyson was the guy, but I knew he wasn't about to be because they signed Latavius Murray.
Fair. So let's get back to this. Anyways,
I lost though.
Yeah, Deebo's doing his crying. He wants a new contract, and I understand it.
You should have a lot of good things to say about him because of this trade. I guess that's what I'm saying to set this stage.
Well, the problem is I know what Kyle Shanahan did for the Falcons offense, so I struggle falling in love with a player in an offense that just always works.
Fair.
Like the offense always works. I mean, he wasn't getting wins with Nick Mullins, but the offense was working, you know?
Yeah, Nick Mullins seemed in that system like a very serviceable backup.
Yeah, CJ Beathard was serviceable in that system. Yeah. The offense worked.
I remember these guys. I mean, I remember CJ Beathard at Iowa.
Trey Sermon, who I thought was going to be good, didn't work. And I say that to say that Trey Sermon was a 3rd-round running back, which is good for a running back in the NFL these days.
He's pretty much supposed to be a starter.
Exactly. And Kyle Shanahan had the other guy who played. I can't think of his name. He was like
he was on my team too.
His 6th-round pick. Like
he was good too. He was good.
Exactly. So I support Deebo going in and trying to get paid. I do support that. Like, get paid, young nigga, get paid. And I'll never knock a player for going after his money because money makes the world go round.
Elijah Mitchell,
yeah. But
he was whatever the Cajuns are in Louisiana.
Lafayette or
UL Lafayette. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when I look at it from the team perspective, if I am the 49ers and you are trying to get paid as the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. So you're asking me for at least 30.5 mil.
And you probably want, if it's a 5-year deal, you essentially want 100 of it guaranteed.
Right. And you don't want to continue running the ball either. You want to be a featured wide receiver. That's not your game, bro. I'm not giving you that money. And guess what? Your value is at its highest. Give me a 1. Fuck that. I want the Tyreek Hill deal. I probably can't get it, but I'm going to ask for it.
What did they give up? They gave up a 1, 2 2s, a 4. They didn't give up 2 ones. I know they didn't give up 2 ones for him.
Let me
That's
see.
quarterback. I mean, Matt Stafford got traded for 2 ones. So, like, I know it wasn't 2 ones. I know it was a 1. I think it was definitely 2 2s, though, and I think it was like a 4.
So let me see. I'm pulling it up right now.
Deebo warrants that type of value. I mean, unless a team overpays, say, the Jets or Texans. But at that point, if you're Deebo, how bad do you not want to be in San Francisco if they're going to pay you too? And I get it, the California tax. You know, at that point, I'd rather and here's the thing too with the 49ers. They have your control for 3 years. You're on the last year of your deal. They can franchise tag you, and then they can franchise tag again.
And maybe I'm a dirty capitalist. Maybe that's what I am. But if I'm the 49ers, I'm like, bruh, no, you're staying.
And if you get traded to a bad team, I've seen one wide receiver be able to get his way out of a contract with 3 years on it, and we know who that was.
Randy Moss, right?
With 3 years on his deal? No,
Julio.
Who reworked their deal with 3 years on it, and they tore it up and gave him a whole new contract. He's right at home. Julio.
Yes, I said Julio.
Oh, I thought you said Randy Moss.
After Randy Moss, I said Julio.
Oh, yeah. Julio, yeah, think about it. He was now, granted, he had been with the franchise for 8 years or whatever, 9 years. But
he got 3 years.
He's the only nigga I've ever seen be able to get a contract ripped up, and then you just get a whole new one, which he set the original market, right? But it literally took almost 3 years for that to change to where a guy like Christian Kirk gets $21 million. And then you have these divas like Deebo, AJ, DK.
But here's the thing.
One more. I guess Terry McLaurin, he hasn't really said anything, but nobody really cares about Washington. So it's like,
because they're about to owner's about to get booted out and make $5 billion in the process. But like, look at this. Like, but look, let me just read off you the numbers from these guys. 3 years
with the NFL.
Who?
And you know that event, Jay-Z. He's eventually going to be. I feel like that's a part of the reason that he was a part of this.
Absolutely, he was doing that.
Eventually, he is going to be a part owner of an NFL team because that will be the biggest flex of all time for him. In a sense of, you're one of the first black majority owners. Like, I'm talking, even if because he don't really got the money to do it based on what his net worth says.
Right.
He doesn't really have the money to be the guy. But even if he owns 25% of the team, that shit's a big deal. I mean, and then for players and. But what happens with Rock Nation too? I know we're getting into the stats. I guess I'm just thinking about this.
No, what happens is he steps away from Rock Nation in that role so they can continue representing players.
But he still is running the fucking boards, kind of like
Donald Trump and his businesses.
And what Donald Trump did too with the Trump hotels.
Yeah, so he's going to step away. He'll do like Michael Jordan did. He won't be the majority owner, but then he'll eventually be able to buy out. He'll be able to buy out enough people to become the majority.
Made so much money.
Yeah, exactly.
Enough wealth to, yeah.
But
you might want to go to him because I don't know. Then again, this younger generation, how many people really listen to Jay-Z?
They listen to his playlist on Super Bowl Sunday, though.
You know, I feel like black classics just never die. But still, even with a guy like Jay,
on that
generation,
he smoked that neck and wrist verse though.
Oh man, he did.
Like, he made me feel so poor when he talked about he would put my house on his wall, and I rent. I'm like, you ain't even talking to somebody like me.
Niggas are that rich, boy.
You ain't even talking to somebody like me, bro. You talking to rich people, and I'm like, oh,
right. You're not talking to anyone that's doing all right.
But
you literally are talking to niggas that are considered rich.
But what's funny is he made that little Twitter play, and it's like, well, Mr. Moneybags, the real Moneybags.
Faison Love, like he like correlated the Faison Love thing because Faison Love.
The phase I'm on, you wouldn't love me neither. Hey, sit your fat ass down, big perm. This is whole right now.
I'm glad, but go through these stats, man. I'm sorry we went into that.
No, man, because I'm sorry. I like when Jay-Z get mad when people talk about him too much. He's like, hold on.
Because he randomly just drops a verse on an unexpected, because you don't just expect to hear Jay-Z verse these days. And kind of like when he responded to Donald Trump on the feature with Nipsey on for the Judas and the Black Messiah, and this is what it feels like. He's like, I lost all my little respect. Like,
but he also responded to him on what's that? The Drake song, the song on Scorpion.
Yes, yeah, he did.
Like, if you whisper about Jay-Z, he gonna hear it, and then you gonna catch some smoke. But anyways, let's get back to these receivers. Because at first I was like, yo, all of them tripping. But then I look at A.J. Brown's numbers, and I think about his quarterback and his running back, and I go, rookie year, he goes for 1,051. Second year,
the only option.
Huh?
I said he had to have been the only option. Was Delaney Walker there still?
I mean, they had.
I'm trying to think of who Tennessee's pass catchers are.
They had they draft 5th overall out of Western Michigan.
Zay Jones?
No. Corey
Davis.
Corey Davis, yeah, that bum.
Yeah. I think Corey Davis ends up, he was with the Jets, right? He had like 1,000-yard year with the Jets.
So whatever. Anyway, so he goes for 1,051 of 1,075, and then last year he played in 13 games. Damn, hold on. Whoa. And he goes for 869. But as I'm looking at his game log, the last 2 seasons he's missed games. He missed 2 games in 2020 and 4 games in 2021. Yep, bro. Sorry, not paying you. Then I look at Deebo. Deebo goes for 1,405 last year. The year before that, 391. Why? Because he was fucking hurt. And then his rookie year, 802. And rushing, he was 365 last year, 26 in his injured year, and then 159 in his rookie year. And then you got DK. He goes for 900 his rookie year, 1,303 the second year, and 967 year 3. And Deebo hasn't missed a game. So if we're talking about paying somebody early, I think Deebo is like leading the pack, even though I may not like his game the best. DK. I'm sorry. DK is leading the pack, even though I like Deebo's game better. Dog, you haven't been healthy. You were hurt in college. You're hurt in the NFL. Why the hell would I pay? Again, as a GM, why would I pay you early?
With so much control, too. I mean, what about you went through Terry McLaurin's numbers?
Oh, let me pull up.
He's the other one that's like, being talked about, and think about his
shit. Terry might have the best numbers.
Yeah, 1,052. He's kind of
1,053 last year, 1,118 the year before, and then 919 as a rookie. His touchdowns aren't great, but
think about his quarterbacks. I mean, he had a hurt Alex Smith at one point. He had a
little bit of Dwayne Haskins action.
He had some Haskins action, which granted they played together in college, so there should have been at least a little connection there. But nonetheless, the pros are different. I mean, right. I mean, Burrow and fucking Chase made it not seem like that, but nonetheless, then RIP to Dwayne Haskins again, but we'll leave that at that. But my point is that Terry, actually, if there's going to be one that I would pay for both value and production and consistency, he probably would be the one. Now, he's also probably the smallest of the 4.
He's 6 foot 210. DK is
6'3", 6'4".
6'4", 235.
AJ 6'4".
Deebo is 6 foot 216. And AJ is, come on, enter that.
I don't like either.
1, 226.
DK and AJ are like Julio wannabes that just like aren't even Julio.
They're Julio wannabes that can't run the route tree.
Yeah, like they're not Julio. Like, so it's just like, well, why would I pay you Julio money? Like Julio. I mean, Julio's literally is. I mean, he's.
You know what you don't want this to turn into?
When you at this point,
DJ
would you
Moore.
rather just give Julio $5 million on a 1-year deal and just see if he can be healthy? I mean, I still think he could play. That's why niggas are. I mean, that's why like organizations are willing to trade these guys. It's like, well,
would you rather just bring in AB and have him clean up his ankle?
that too. I
He's
mean,
better than them. AB's better than them.
Still take those guys at 33 over paying them $25+ million minimum. Like,
I'm not comfortable paying DK Metcalf that because I saw how Dez Bryant's career stopped.
Terry probably, now that we talked about it, Terry would be first in terms of I feel like I know what I'm getting at least with him.
Yep.
Deebo's got the potential to be really that guy if he's willing to do the running shit too. He would be he's the number one guy. Like, to me, he's got the highest upside. The other two, I feel like, are just 1,000-yard receivers maybe for another 3-4 years. And like they're somebody that opposing DBs might not want to go against if you're not that good of a DB because of their size alone. And if you have a quarterback that can put the ball on the spot, they're going to almost always get it. But I'm not putting my organization up for ransom because I've signed you to this deal and now we're handicapped. Like, I'm not
paying anybody early if they're not a quarterback who I'm gonna go for the next 10 to 15 years with. Sorry. Like, the quarterback is the only person I'm afraid of.
Well, think about it. The wide receiver shelf life is probably anywhere for the good ones, anywhere from
8 to 11.
The great ones are 8 to 11. I'm thinking good 5 to 7 years. Good wide receiver. I'm talking non-Hall of Famer, maybe 3 Pro Bowls. The 8 to 11 are the guys that go to the Pro Bowl 7 times.
But guess what?
In that 8 to 11 year range.
But Parlay Pete, guess what?
Unknown caller.
I'm not answering that. But guess what, Parlay Pete? We keep having high-end receivers come out of college, so I can get them on a fixed salary for 4 years, 5th year option for
some
a little
guys
bit
are
of nothing.
special. Like Justin Jefferson and
Jamar Chase, they get the bag because guess what? They've already passed these guys who are asking for money, and when they're not going to have to ask for money next offseason. Like Justin Jefferson's not going to go and say, "Hey, I'm deleting everything off my social media."
Yeah,
like,
one day we're just going to look up Minnesota Vikings signed Justin Jefferson to 3-year, $100 million contract.
Exactly.
Like, and he's only 25, guys. Like, you know what I mean?
And 2 years from now, the same thing will happen with Jamar Chase. Like, if we have to think about whether or not we should pay you, we probably shouldn't pay you.
The only thing that'll slow guys like that down is if they do have an injury history. I mean, like, to me, and it's ironic they're all LSU guys, but to me, Odell did have that special thing, but then he went to the fucking black hole of the NFL in Cleveland and
played for Baker.
They had success when he gets there. Like, they were successful as a team, but like, they're the Sacramento Kings of the NFL.
Hey, Parlay Pete, I take exception with you calling the Cleveland Browns a black hole because they have 3 black quarterbacks in their quarterback room right now. There's one white quarterback on the roster.
We were able to transition like this.
There's one white quarterback in that room, but he's not showing up right now. So essentially, there's all black quarterback room, and you're calling it a black hole.
It's a white hole. Okay.
You don't even like yourself. You don't even like you want to change your black skin.
It's a white hole.
You want to be like, I don't know, white or something, or maybe you want to join the Lobos family like me. I don't know.
Or maybe I want to boo people in their fucking cubicle.
That was some of the I mean, we talked about this last week, but that was some bullshit. Like, maybe I'll go to your cubicle and boo you. Maybe I'll turn around and slap the shit out you if you get in my face and start booing me, bro, while I'm typing up a report.
Or maybe, Baker, you should just shut the fuck up. You're already getting paid. Just please, brother, just help yourself. Like seriously, like help yourself. Like
Here's
you got
imagine,
Progressive's giving you a bag for them commercials that they done pulled off. They done already paid you for them. Like it ran for the last 2 NFL seasons, and yes, you did go to the playoffs, and yes, you did win a playoff game against Ben Roethlisberger in the fucking.
hey, and they had all those weird turnovers and shit. Like
half of that Steelers team isn't even there anymore. The quarterback's gone. The fucking top receiver is gone. Like, I mean, that's a team that's transitioned.
Hey,
that you
imagine if, again, I mean, I know you're, self-employed, somewhat, imagine if you get an edict.
For people though. I work for the people that contract us.
Fair. Imagine if you get an edict that says, "Hey, here's 18 million. We don't want you to do this job anymore. You're going to get paid $18 million. Now, you're still going to be able to, there's no non-compete during this year. You can still go find another job, do whatever you want, but here's $18 million to walk away."
Well, we'll determine where you go to work, but is it okay if we just pay you you're going to get the 18 million. We owe it to you. That was the contract that we signed with you.
And you're free.
You're going to be a better provider for us.
And
but
you're
I'm
free.
Sure somebody else will give you another chance for you to earn even more money than that. Is that all right? Because we found a better person. You'd have nothing out of me. I'd be all right, look, y'all talk to my negotiator in the business aspect, my negotiator, or in the football sense, my agent. He'll keep me abreast. I appreciate you guys. Y'all took a chance on me. So, nothing but love here, baby. Like, thank you.
And I think athletes, they don't look at stuff like this with the real world point of view. It's like, hey, yo, you getting paid 18 million.
Business, man. I get it. Like, I've lost a contract before. So, like, for me, I don't burn that bridge, though. I'm not going to be like, man, fuck y'all. Like, y'all, that shit was, even though, and we did get done dirty on one of them, but it was never a fuck y'all. Like, I did tell us, just like, I did tell them, honestly, I didn't like the way that it was handled. Now, granted, the paper, the news cycle didn't report on it, but I didn't also just exclusively come out and put out a statement and do all this stuff or whatever. Like, it was nothing like that. I mean, because nobody cares, but like at the same time,
nobody cared about Bakers either.
Well, and I told them, I didn't like it. And then what happens 5 months later, I get a phone call from them. And I had to come back in and we got to talk, and we're still in talks now about getting back in there. So I'm not going to burn a bridge. Malcolm Butler didn't burn a bridge with the Patriots, and now he's a Patriot again.
What happens if Deshaun Watson gets suspended before Baker gets traded?
Brissett's going to still be the starter.
Baker's on the roster. And they're going to pay Baker this year.
Well, Baker knows that regardless, because of the amount of money they guaranteed him, he could go 4-0 and they're going to still sit him. I mean,
anyway,
no, that's just the truth.
I mean, no, it is.
He literally could have 20 touchdowns through 4 games with 2,000 yards passing, and there's not like what are the Browns gonna do? All right, hey, this is Jimmy Haslam with the Browns. How you doing, Mr. Blank? Yeah, we were wondering. We noticed y'all didn't take a quarterback in the first round. Y'all still want this nigga? It's not gonna happen. Like, it's not.
Like, here goes. Are you gonna guarantee? Are you gonna pay half of that contract?
They're like, fuck no. That's y'all's responsibility. It's like, click.
No.
Click.
But I think Jacoby Brissett put out a tweet about being in an all-black quarterback room for the first time in his career.
It's a unique situation.
It is. You got Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett, and Josh Dobbs. I'm pretty sure Deshaun Watson got Josh Dobbs on the roster because they're both Quincy Avery guys. Shout out to Morehouse.
Can you recall even this a black starter and a black backup?
RG3 and not Robert Griffin III. RG3 and Lamar Jackson.
Okay. When you said RG3, it's because you named the backup first. I'm thinking, I'm like, well, Kirk Cousins was his backup, but
right.
Yes. So was Huntley. No, they had Sorensen or Soren, the guy from Penn State.
Yeah, the guy from Penn State. Yeah, they had him, but to have 3 black quarterbacks,
and typically only 2 are active, right? So
right, and neither 3 vets. Two
right,
of them
Dobbs started an NFL game.
Right, 2 of them are.
They were like going back and forth that year.
2 of them are Atlanta-based guys. Josh Dobbs, he's an Atlanta nigga.
He's not related to the Dobbs. You guys know that went to Navy, right?
I don't know. Good question.
Just a food for thought. I'm just hitting.
I know. I should ask him. Ricky Dobbs is the best flag football quarterback, like walking. That's a conversation for another day. Like,
well, he's is it Hoo-Yah or Hoorah?
Navy, I think they're Hoo-Yah.
Well, he's Hoo-Yah. It's funny. I got to talk to him because him and Jude, I guess they live. Jude had called me once because he follows me, right? And I follow him. But I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, honestly, I said, bro, I actually do remember you, like on the field. I remember when you were Navy's quarterback.
Bro, I remember playing with him on a video game, and it became very weird when we became friends because I'm sitting there like, I played with this nigga on a video game, like. But
I just remember because I'm like, first of all, there's always that one Saturday where it's the Army-Navy game. And even if then I wasn't betting, it's still football that's on TV, so you'll tune in.
It's the only game on.
Barry O's out there, because they always show the president, right? And, I don't know. It's still, I'm just like, yeah, bro, I do remember you. Like, you ran for a shit ton of yards one year. Yeah. You had, like, 15, 17. I mean, all y'all do is run the ball, but like, I'm like, and I'm trying to think, he played for Paul Johnson too. Right?
Yeah, he played for PJ. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, with Georgia Tech coach, I'm not a Tech fan, but I live here and I'm invested in Atlanta.
Hey, we can't keep talking about Rick though. Okay. Like,
we're not.
Yeah. It's just like, fuck him.
We're not. We still got a couple more topics. And I know we got started a little bit later. So go ahead. Go.
Yeah. You know what? Let's talk about the Eastern playoffs, man. It's getting very interesting out here. The only thing we have for the Hawks is Street Clothes Williamson.
They bet. Yeah, well.
In the town. We need a number 2.
Bring him in. They need a number 2 who you really need a 1A and 1B. That's what you need. And
we need another player on Trey's level.
Some people were saying, because of the emergence of Jordan Poole, if the Warriors were willing to get rid of Klay Thompson,
bring him on.
What would the idea of Klay playing with Klay and Trey? You know what I mean? Trey and Klay. Like,
yeah,
it has a little ring to it, but like, what would the idea of even something like that look like? And then would you be willing to, I know in the NBA, you don't rip up contracts and just do them, but would you be willing to even extend and add on to his current contract? Considering right now, we know it's the first year. I feel like next year we're going to really get a better understanding of who Klay is now. And, obviously Trey is ascending. He's going to continue to ascend. Like, he's getting ready to really hit the prime of his career. I would imagine next year into the next 3 to 4 years, he's going to be at his highest level of basketball. And so, because he's got his contract now, and this is where he earns literally the second contract, which is when NBA players really do get into their.
That's where he gets.
He's a point guard too, so like his shelf life could really go on for a long time. That's why a guy like Chris Paul is so good at 37 today, and it's just it's just one of those things. Go ahead, keep talking. Justice calling, but go ahead.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. The Hawks, they need another player, a top end player, to help them out because Trae Young can't do it by himself. And we're seeing it in other series, but unlike other players, with Trae Young being so small, man, he's 5'11", probably a buck 80, 85 if he's lucky, running around on the court. And because his game is so far from the basket, he needs help, like consistent help, who can get points from the basket and and allow the defense to go away. Like he doesn't need the defense in his face as much as they're there, and that's what hurts him. So like for this series, I think we grab a game or two at home, make it interesting. But don't get it twisted. If Trey goes on another run again and we force a game 7, I've not given up hope because people act like the home team, who's the better team, winning 2 games is fucking weird. Just like we saw, you know what? Just like we saw in in the Brooklyn Celtics series. Hey, the Celtics have been a better team than Brooklyn since like January.
Yeah,
Okay,
the Celtics have arguably been the best team in the NBA since January.
exactly.
Even
Like
with the Suns.
all the smart, all the analytics say that they were going to the finals. Like the analytics say they were a finals team. Okay, top offense, top defense. I don't like to watch their offense.
I think now with I'm
Conversation for
sorry.
another day.
Go.
But the focus on Brooklyn, Brooklyn is what they've been all year. If Katie and Kyrie are cooking, they win. If Katie and Kyrie aren't cooking, they don't. You have a team that runs one of the most putrid offense I've ever seen in my life. But you know what? I don't blame them. I blame Steve Nash and I blame Ben Simmons. Guess who they need? They need Ben Simmons, somebody who can change up their offense, somebody who can get them out in transition and get easy buckets. Somebody, when they do that whole screen and roll action that they continue to do, that high pick and roll, somebody who they can actually dump the ball off to and they be a threat to make other stuff happen. They need motion, okay? That you just can't keep saying, hey, KD, ISO, hey, Kyrie, ISO. Like, bro, everybody's watching, and the rest of the guys on the team, they're getting cold. They're not touching the ball. As a guy who's been a role player before, if I don't touch the ball, and I even talk about shooting, if I don't touch the ball for 4 or 5 trips, hey, I'm checked out, dog. Like people need to touch the ball to feel a part of it. But you know, LeBron James has set such a high standard of what we expect from our top tier players in the league that when we see KD struggling like this, we think that it's more abnormal than it actually is. And don't get me wrong, what KD's doing 0 for 10 in the second half isn't great, but look at his body. Look how they're beating him up. He's not built for that. He went to Golden State for a reason. He wanted to play in a fluent offense that allowed him to get easy, efficient points. But then he left that because of whatever reason to go with Kyrie, who is similar to Russell Westbrook in the sense that he is a point guard or 2 guard masquerading as a point guard who does not necessarily get the other guys in rhythm the way that they need to be. And it's your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. And that's just not fluid offense, man. The Brooklyn Nets experiment failed. I mean, you know, you don't know if you don't know. It
It's
failed. It
it's
fucking failed, man.
it's failed so far. I mean, Kevin Durant is.
Bro, how does Memphis keep coming back on these niggas?
Hold on. If Katie wears a size 17, he's a size 16 away from being probably winning the finals last year.
You're right.
I don't think
if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Kyrie would have been back in the next round. And so it's like,
if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. If my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle.
Hey, if the Falcons run the ball 3 times, we don't have to, like, we're champions, and we know.
If the Falcons run the ball 3 times, Julian Turner can't say shit to us
ever again. Well, he could say, "Well, we got 5," but okay, nigga, whatever. We won one more recently. Fuck you, Saints fans. What do they have to say? We beat them in a playoff, and we own the series. Now, what do they have to say? Nothing. There's nothing that they can say. And so, but point being, I just think that I just think that in the case of the Nets, I think that, yes, everything is said that Boston is better. They have been. They have the best defense in the NFL. NBA. They've got the top defender in the NBA and Marcus Smart, right? First guard to get Defensive Player of the Year since Gary Payton. There's a lot of different things that you could kind of look at this team and be like, man, they're put together, and they're doing it without Robert Williams, who honestly, when I looked up statistically, he defensively was at the top of the NBA in regards to defensive efficiency. I'm not a big analytics guy, but I think he was second or he led the league in blocks this year.
Who?
He was very good for them. He's a good rebounder too. Like, and you know, the big man analytics, rebounds and stuff. They add that into defense. That's why big man wins it every year, because there's so many niggas that'll get
I hate defensive
from
analytics.
10 to 14 rebounds a year, and that's a part of it because a majority of them are defensive rebounds.
You have to watch basketball to understand what happens on the defensive end because you can get cooked. And as a guy who used to be a pretty good defender, I've gotten cooked and I played great defense because you made the guy work. Was he efficient today? No, he wasn't efficient. Did he get his? Yeah, but did he take 7 extra shots to get his? Yeah, you did your job.
Exactly. And all I'm saying is this: analytically, yeah, the Celtics. It makes a lot of sense. You know, I know it's TD Garden now, Boston Garden, whatever. There's always a hostile environment, and with the idea of even a guy like Kyrie coming in, it was going to set itself up to be one of these series to where I'm not at all really surprised. I thought that they were going to split. I really did. Not only just from a betting standpoint, but just in general, I really did think that they were going to split because Katie and Kyrie are still the better duo than Brown and Tatum in reality.
We got a tie game right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see Bane just hit the 3.
Yeah, and the pass from Ja was crazy. Like it was some and one shit. Like he was on the baseline, he passed it and hit the spin after.
So how did they go down 20? They were down 20, like 26 in the first half. Then I saw they were down 20 again in the third.
When we were talking about Baker, they were down 20. And then I look up and we're talking to the Eastern Conference playoffs and they're up. And they're tied.
Let's move on from that Boston series. Let's go into – we already did Heat Hawks. We're going to get to Milwaukee's last. But
Philly and –
there's really not too much to talk about there except for based on what we've seen out of Jokic in the playoffs, even though the MVP is a regular season award and we did our All-NBA and our awards last week, I mean, it looks like Joel Embiid should be the MVP today.
Yeah. And you know what else? You know what else really brings it home for me about this Philly team? Because of the emergence of Maxey, because of
Thibault.
Not even him because he didn't play yesterday.
I know because he's unvaccinated.
But because this team allows James Harden to be playoff James Harden, and they still win. He's not going to score the way you want him to, but he's still going to be
What about playoff Doc? Too. I mean, let's not forget playoff Doc that exists, but he drew up that play for Embiid to get that 3.
Is that a good play?
What happened?
Was that a good play call?
Money, right? Like, I mean,
it's straight cash.
Now, granted, we're still in the first round.
Hey,
Doc has no issue in the first round.
Right? Hey, do some playoff Doc. I got to piss too badly. I can't hold it.
Well, we know all about playoff Doc. When it comes to playoff Doc, there was a meme that came out a few years ago. It was a picture of Doc Rivers, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. And it said, that's right, we're going back to the second round, baby. And, that's been the epitome of Doc Rivers aside from what he got done with the Celtics. It's just one of those things where Doc, you can't truly make a believer out of Doc because he's the originator of a coach for a big 3. But you look at what Doc did before that big 3. He was the coach of the Orlando Magic with Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill. How good of a team was that team? I'm waiting. There's nothing to say. It wasn't that good of a team. They didn't win a bunch of games, and he had prime T-Mac. I'm talking healthy, best Tracy McGrady team that you could ever have. He didn't do anything. What did he do? Nothing. Then you look at him post that, and you go back to that Clippers team, and it's just one of those things where Doc has not been a big game coach unless he's had a big 3 in Boston, because he hasn't got a chance to be in those big games. In terms of he's been in big games, but he hasn't been in those big games. And kind of like I was just explaining to everybody, you look at Doc's track record. Orlando Magic, he had the healthiest and best T-Mac you could have ever. Hall of Fame T-Mac. Basically, what made T-Mac the Hall of Famer? Because his time in Houston,
he had like 1 or 2 years.
Well, he was hurt half the time.
Yeah.
And I get it. Grant Hill on that Magic team, he was hurt pretty much the entire time he was there. But
Tim Duncan was coming to that Magic team, but it was something about his
and it was
wife.
something about a private jet.
The wife couldn't get the private jet, and you go, fucking idiots.
Can you imagine Tim Duncan with T-Mac?
And imagine if Grant Hill was healthy.
Well, but even after the Grant Hill part, if you got T-Mac and Timmy, you're getting another guy or a bunch of great role players. You're probably drafting a little bit better.
Is Pop still in San Antonio right now?
It's wild. It's wicked, actually.
It might be one of the biggest NBA what ifs that rarely gets talked about.
But all I'm saying, I mean, we know that Sixers series is over, and it sucks because if Harrison Barnes probably doesn't get hurt, they win yesterday.
Scotty Barnes?
Yeah, I said Harrison.
Yeah,
Scotty Barnes. Yes, Scotty. Not to be confused with Harrison Barnes or Scottie Pippen. Scotty
Too Hottie.
Or Scotty Too Hottie. Well, we can never forget the worm and what was Rikishi and them called?
I don't remember, but that was one of the worst finishing moves ever. That didn't hurt.
Scotty Too Hottie and Rikishi were.
I don't know, man. Fucking, let's talk about Chris Middleton getting hurt.
Too sexy, some dumb shit.
Let's talk about Chris Middleton getting hurt and Bud turning back into Bud. Like, you talk about playoff Doc. Playoff Bud ain't much better.
But come on. I mean, he's got a title now, and then we can't.
Doc has one too.
He does, but I'm just saying, but with Bud, I mean, Bud was taking the Hawks places. Come on, man.
That was a good roster.
It was a good roster, but was it?
They got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals after winning.
They should have won at least one game here.
Right, give me one.
Too.
DeMar DeRozan, I think he had like 35 points before he got double teamed last night.
There are adjustments that should be made, but Middleton is ideally who I would think would be guarding him.
Drew.
Nah, well, who's guarding Levine? I'm putting Drew on Levine, and I'm putting Middleton on DeRozan. I get it.
And I'm telling Giannis.
Drew's your better guard, but he's smaller. Like Levine's 6'5", Drew like 6'3", 6'4".
I'm going to tell Giannis.
Is bigger, and Middleton's an all-star. He's an Olympic gold medalist. There's a lot of stuff.
All that's fraudulent.
Now you don't even have Middleton. So now what are you going to do? Do you want to take
the first round
that the Denver Nuggets did against Kobe in the West Finals and put – like Kenyon Martin was guarding Kobe Bryant in the West Finals. Do you want to put Bobby Portis potentially?
He's hurt too.
In the lineup into where Bobby Portis is, who's guarding?
He's hurt.
Bobby Portis is hurt.
Yeah, Bobby Portis got hurt too. Let me see. Let me see how bad it is. But Bobby Portis got hurt too. Bobby Portis. I don't care what Giannis has to say. Let me shut up before I get in trouble. He's not on an injury report as of 2 hours ago, but he did get hurt. He got knocked out of the game versus the Bulls. But if Middleton's missing the rest of the series, that's confirmed. He sprained his MCL, the same thing that Anthony Street Clothes Davis did. They're done. They're not getting to the finals.
Yeah, because now Middleton for sure is going to miss until at least halfway through the East Finals.
Yeah.
At least. And so
Jason Tatum, go ahead and book it. That's next segment. That's next segment. Don't even respond to it. It's next segment. It's next segment.
Let's not sleep on Miami.
Let's not. But, we got another injury.
Lost in Miami.
Yes. We have another injury.
Riley, Spo. I mean, I think we can all agree that in today's NBA, Spo is the best coach in the NBA.
We can, but let's talk about that in playoff overreactions because you know what? As we're sitting here thinking, I got something for you. Sonny Sam's eyes or Bobby Porter's eyes, as they say. We got Devin Booker, who also has a grade one ham. We have not Bobby Portis, Devin Booker with a grade one hamstring strain. As somebody who regularly strains his hamstring, he's not going to be the same. He's going to be out for a few games, but even when he comes back,
they said 2 to 3 weeks. He's going to miss this entire series, as far as I'm concerned. And then if that is in fact true, and like you said, even if he plays, there's a lot that could happen there. But like he's going to miss this entire series and probably maybe the first or second game of.
So what you're telling me is the Jazz are going to get to the Western Conference Finals and save Quinn Snyder's job and Rudy Gobert, and they're going to run it back again with this team that shouldn't work.
Nope. They're losing currently to Dallas anyways without Luka at home. They're down 9. I mean, it's still early, but
that's nothing. That score doesn't mean anything to me right now.
Shit. I tell you what, if they steal one of these games in Utah, give me Dallas when Luka's back, because Utah's not for real, and they've been pretenders this entire season. They've been pretenders really the past few years.
They've been pretenders the entire existence of their franchise in Utah, to include the Karl Malone years and the Darren Williams years.
Let me tell you, I'd be the first to say, let's send Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. Give me we got to get RJ.
Yeah, no deal without RJ.
Probably quickly's got to be in the deal. Robinson, and let's make that deal happen. Then we're going to find a home for Rudy too, Mr. COVID himself. So, but I'm saying, if you get that haul, if you can get RJ quickly, and because they get to keep Randall still, right? Like, so you get RJ quickly and Robinson, who I think his deal is expiring anyways. You get those 3, make that deal, and then you send Rudy to. Trying to think of a team that could just use a rim protector. Probably Charlotte. Send him to Charlotte. Who knows? Maybe you could swindle a deal where you get Bridges and just make it straight up. You get Bridges. Now add Bridges, RJ. That sounds – now, granted, you probably still aren't winning games, but you probably open up a lot of cap. I mean, I know you got to pay Bridges here soon. And he's going to want a lot of money, even though he's not a max player, but he's a type of guy who would get it.
He's getting a max.
Or maybe you make it a 3-way deal. I mean, Zion is still on the table here somewhere. All right. I mean, I know we talked about him coming to Atlanta, but Zion's on the table.
He's not going to Utah, buddy.
Well, right. He's going to make it to where he won't allow it to happen. He'll just act hurt again, or whatever.
But no,
he'll be dunking and like nigga will be playing pickup like in the Drew League. And then once the season starts, he'll be like, I don't know. I'm feeling kind of fat.
Memphis is up 5 with the ball. And they did have the ball.
Well, they stripped him.
Yeah, good rip. But Ant-Man guarded him, and I like that. But
let me tell you, that boy is something else.
He is. Let's talk about this series too, man. I think this is the most fun series of teams who were waiting.
Whoa! They didn't call anything. I'm sorry. I don't know if you were looking. He went up.
Yeah, I saw Jai get knocked over, and
I mean, his hand went down. Cat's hand went down. Oh, by the way, Dallas is up 13. Nigga, Utah's finished.
Cat just started crying.
You're losing like this to the Dallas Mavericks without Luka Doncic, but you're finished. You're finished. You have to blow it up. Like, you need to honestly hit reset.
So Utah, here's the thing of why Utah probably shouldn't hit reset is because this is the best that they're going to be, and they're that type of franchise.
This is not Stockton and Malone, where Malone is truly Mitchell, and then Stockton is Rudy.
Well, think about this.
Rudy's a defensive force, leading shot blocker NBA, so kind of like Stockton with assists. And then you got your, I guess, I don't know what you think of Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell's good, but like, like a lot of people debate this.
He's
Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, and there's another player. They're all in that same class of like
Donovan Mitchell is top 20, but he's not top 13.
What do you think Devin Booker is? He's top 22, right? But like, obviously this year we both agree he's first team all NBA just because. And now we're about to see really how valuable he is to them. And we'll see if old Chris Paul can truly show the load.
Book's top 15 every day. Like right now he's top 15 every day. He scored 31.5.
I agree. Maybe, man, look, Colin's probably going to be available for a team. Colin Sexton, obviously, that is. He's going to probably be available for a team. I'm just saying, Utah can hit the reset button.
Colin's not going to
Colin in there. I mean, I don't know. There's a way that they could figure this.
The only way Colin goes to Utah is if they're the only team that's going to give him the bag.
But if you're getting rid of Mitchell, you need a guard, and like,
I don't know the guy.
They're not going to be able to flip assets to change that team unless they just blow it up. That's the thing. Like Mitchell is your most valuable piece. The Knicks scream the most where you can get some pieces back and be okay with it type thing. And then I don't know what the Cavs are going to do with Colin, but I'm just saying Colin probably doesn't want to be a six man, and I feel like that might be something that they're trying to do. I haven't talked to Colin in a minute, but like at the same time, like I don't believe that that's something he's going to be willing to do because if you average 24 points a game the season before you got hurt.
Is he going to be a restricted free agent this summer?
Unrestricted. Yeah, it's a restricted. Yeah.
Restricted. So if I'm the Cavs, I match the offer sheet no matter what.
Really? Even if somebody says 4 years, 80? But Colin might not even want to do that.
But here's the thing.
I know he wanted one of them bags that them boy, like everybody else in the
right. He does, and it sucks that he got hurt. But here's what I'm doing if I'm Colin Sexton. If I'm the Cavaliers, I'm matching the offer sheet so that then I can trade him later on in the season because now he has a salary that I can move for better assets than I can.
And he's still going to be very productive, assuming that the injury doesn't. Which I'm just personally somebody that believes that he's going to come back better. Like he, right? I'm a person that works.
I'm a Colin Sexton fan because of you. Like, it has nothing to do with me watching him play. And when I listen to people like criticize his game, I go, everybody's game has flaws, but a lot of these, you're only pointing out these flaws because the Cavaliers aren't winning. Because look how the media changed on Devin Booker once they started winning.
You know what the thing
is? Game hasn't changed much.
Let's say that Darius Garland is going to be this next really good guard. Why can't, even in a role, he be like Tyrese Maxey for Philly? In a sense of Evan Mobley is not Joel Embiid, but Evan Mobley, bro, the sky's the limit with him. In my opinion, especially after watching him against the Hawks, dog.
He's KG material.
Oh my God, dog. He, in a weird way, I mean, I didn't watch Wilt Chamberlain, but I'm just saying in a sense of he could be so good. Like, I mean, like when I look at like his, like, bro, he's a freak too. Like he's a freak. And so like I could see Evan Mobley, his ceiling is like, he could honestly be the next great big man in the NBA.
His ceiling is
like the dominant big man. I think that the potential for him is that high. He's going to be a guy that can average 27 and 13. Like, I do believe that is because he can shoot too, which is why I see it where the KG kind of comparison comes in there. Like, he can be that and still average 3 blocks. Like, KG really is kind of a good modern day player, but in a weird way, structurally, he looks like Wilt Chamberlain to me. I didn't watch Wilt, but I'm just simply saying, like, structurally and kind of the way I'm looking at, even against Clint Capella, I'm like, God, bro, he's like kind of eating this nigga.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be very good. And let's just say that Darius Garland, he's no James Harden, but I'm just saying, even in a role for next season, if it's one of those things where Colin has a 1-year deal,
Garland's not taking a step back because he made
Maxey. We saw he exploded for 37. Maxey is going to get paid even if the Sixers don't pay him. Somebody's going to pay Maxey eventually. If he continues doing what he's doing, he's 18 a game. He shoots over 40% from 3, and he's not the lead guard. And I guess he was for half the season. But, like,
Maxey is 23 a game right now. I can see his 23 points per game.
Yeah. Like, it's weird. He's the type of guy that I'm just trying to think of a team just off the rip where I'm like, he would be fantastic fitting in with like a group.
He would be a great 6-man for the Lakers.
He could start on the Lakers. I mean,
I mean, and I say six man.
But the Lakers just have no assets to trade that anyone wants. I mean, unless you are going to trade Anthony Davis, which they should, but they should trade him. I would trade him right now.
Hey, can we circle back to the Western playoffs?
Yeah. Why are we talking about the Lakers? They're not a part of it.
Yeah, we're not skipping Shannon, but Jordan Poole swimming,
earning himself a big bag already. Let me see what his contract's like.
He's got drafted 28th overall.
Hold on. But he's got to be getting ready to be due for a deal this offseason.
Well, it's year 3. So they could
year 4. He was a first round pick. So yeah.
So they could sign an extension. They can sign an extension this summer. They can sign him to a max. He will still get paid quarters next year.
No, he's on the last year of his deal this upcoming year.
He has an option.
Is he an RFA? No, yeah, he does. So they got control at least for another 2 years.
Right. So what they can do is they can sign him to I forgot who I got this from. They can sign him to a max and it won't affect your salary.
I wouldn't give him a max.
Somebody else is though.
He's got to go.
But no, here's the thing though. Here's the thing.
I need to see it in season 2.
Hear me out though. You sign him to the max. It doesn't go into
Dallas. If you had him as a running mate with Luka, would be
maybe. But
Jalen Brunson's about to get signed by somebody's going to pay Jalen Brunson.
But here's how you keep him in Golden State. You sign him to the max. It doesn't go into effect until not next season, the season after that. And Andrew Wiggins is off the books after next season. So you're just replacing Jordan Poole with Andrew Wiggins' salary. And Andrew Wiggins is not a max player, so fuck it.
What do you think of the idea of Jordan Poole and Trae Young?
I love it.
We see it works with Steph, and we know that Memphis is up 10 points.
Yo, cat's soft.
Look at this. JP is texting me now. I sent JP a ticket. And I didn't even bet it, but this is what I would have bet. But it doesn't look like Utah is going to win. I took Utah money.
Okay.
They're losing. I took the under. The under looks great in that game. I took Memphis money. I took Carolina Hurricane, puck line. They covered. And then I took the Marlins. They won. So basically, if the Jazz win and the Nuggets win, this parlay would have hit. And if I put $1,000 on it, it would have paid out $28K. Or 514 or 100, 2,800 plus, basically. And so, I mean, wow. Want to talk about some Minnesota shit. You know, people like to talk about Atlanta and Minnesota in the same lights as sports cities because of the heartbreak and, like, you know, I mean, what?
You make the championships at least.
Minnesota? Yeah, the Vikings don't have a Super Bowl.
And they haven't been to one in my lifetime.
Yeah, well, and think about it. We spoiled them from going to the Super Bowl probably the year everybody thought they were going to win it. Because they were.
And we've talked about that. Like
Moss, I mean.
They were. But they were a far too favored. They as the 15-1 team, we were being treated like we weren't a 14-2 team. We were being treated like we were an 11-5 team.
Not to mention that 98 Falcons team was a team of destiny. Like literally, that was their whole MO. Dan Reeves missed game, didn't even coach some of those games because he had a heart attack. The Dirty Bird. It was a unique team. Like that's like think about the nickname for the Falcons being the Dirty Birds. That's kind of how it came about. That was a unique team. That was a team of destiny that season.
Oh, yeah. Josh's not playing with these boys right now. He just went right at Cat and just laid one up on him in his face. But, hey, playoff overreaction. You know, my playoff overreaction was about to be the Celtics in the finals. But then when you said don't forget about the Heat, you know what? I'm going to change that to Jimmy Butler gets a ring this year, man. That's my playoff overreaction.
Ooh, so you got him winning the whole thing. I guess with the Booker injury – that's definitely in the cards. I thought the Suns, I mean, we both agreed Suns, these series aren't over. And no. So, but yes, that's why these are overreactions. My overreaction will be this. Based on what we've seen so far, the overreaction.
Hey, Justice right there?
Yeah, he just got here.
What's up, host?
What up?
The overreaction for me is going to be this.
Okay.
Golden State wins the NBA Finals. That'll be my overreaction.
I'm not mad at that. And, you know,
Jordan Poole keeps playing the way he is.
Not happening.
You know, I tried to shit on Skip Bayless for his
They're
Memphis
the only team
Miami
that's
finals.
that wasn't tied in a – well, and I know Philly's up 3-0, but, like, in the West, they're the only team that's up 2-0 that held home court. In the East, I mean, I'm not really surprised Philly. I mean, Philly was the 1 seed last year, and to me, James Harden's more productive with Philly than Ben Simmons was, even with what Ben Simmons brings to the game.
Absolutely.
I just think that with Philly, they weren't really the 4 seed anyway. They were probably, if they didn't tail off a little, like they really could have been the 1 or 2 themselves. So to
And they're
me,
probably the third best team in the East right now.
that Philly team's going to be able to travel,
Yeah,
and win the games on the road. So like, I don't know. My overreaction still though is that Golden State wins the NBA Finals, because if Jordan Poole. And somebody brought this up, and it's a kind of crazy because it's worked out so well. Could you imagine Steph Curry just coming off the bench? He had 30. He still had 30 last game off the bench.
That's scary because
he's a lot better as a starter. And you're not going to start all 3 of them.
No.
You could, I guess, theoretically. Theoretically, they call it the 3G lineup, right? Theoretically, you could just start Steph, Poole, Clay, Wig, Dre. You could kind of do that if you wanted.
You know, somebody said they should just keep it the Splash Brothers because Jordan Poole's last name is Poole, so you got the Splash Brothers in the pool. You know what I'm saying? They splashing in the pool. What we talking about here, baby?
They look.
And I got 5G, so who gives a fuck about 3G? That shit's slow. That's outdated.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, if he plays at that level, now we know he's not going to sustain 30. I'm just saying if he's going to give you 22 again.
That's all we need.
20 guaranteed. I mean, seriously. I mean, who's with Book in question in Phoenix, even if they get to the West Finals, I don't know what that matchup looks like. I mean, CP3 on Steph, and we've seen Steph cook CP3 enough times as a Clipper. Poole probably gets guarded by
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, I was going to say probably Bridges. You put Bridges on him, and then Crowder's probably on Clay. And I like the Warriors in that scenario.
It depends on what Booker's health is.
And then Dre is going to do enough on Ayton.
Yeah, you see what he's doing, the fucking look at your MVP.
And so, and Wiggins, I guess, is kind of, it's like, well.
Who cares?
Because he's going to be on, like, Cam Johnson. So it's
the worst all-star ever in my lifetime.
Starter. I mean,
God almighty.
Starter. Shit. I'll never forget you still even in any way comparing that to Kobe Bryant. And I know that you were like, I don't mean it like that, because I knew you didn't mean it like that. But, like, the fact that their names came up in the same sentence.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
That's blasphemy.
Hey, here's what we want to do. Let's put sports cancel culture to the next pod, because I think this deserves a good pod, and we're at 2 hours.
Well, and we gave too much good stuff on the
top end.
Yep.
We'll do a drafting philosophy as well next week. We're going to talk some draft.
Yeah, because we'll be doing it literally as it's
getting
it going on.
Exactly.
We'll be there for the first couple picks.
Right. So let's end off on this. The NIL killed 3 NCAA legends, right? Or Knicks three NCAA legends. Jay Wright stepped down kind of unexpectedly to us who don't know anything.
Well, retired.
Yeah, he stepped down. He retired. Coach K retired. We knew that last year going into the season. And then Roy Williams retired. And the only thing that tells me that these guys would retire, guys who have been highly successful, who've dominated college basketball, is that this NIL thing has changed the way they go about their recruiting. And not to say that they were 100% clean recruiters, but Coach Cal ain't going nowhere.
Oh, he's going to thrive. Guys, honestly, look, we know that Herb is going to be a college coach. Herb will be a college coach too. He's going to be a guy that's going to thrive in that in this era. Let's look at even basketball-wise, Rick Pitino, right?
Oh, Ricky P's coming back to a major Power 5 program.
Would you be surprised if Villanova hired Rick Pitino?
They should. Rick Pitino can coach.
Wouldn't it kind of fit really well?
Well, think about what happened. Well, think about Rick Pitino was the only person who got fired and all of that shit. And by the time Will Wade got fired, Rick Pitino's replacement got fired.
And Rick is he's been at Iona. Now, they didn't make the tournament this year because, ironically, guess who they lost to in their conference?
Who?
St. Peter's.
Well.
And so Rick, there was rumors that Rick was going to take the Maryland job.
Hey, look.
And then he shot it down. He's like, I'm not going to Maryland. Like he basically, even if they were going to offer, he's like, that's not where I'm going to coach. That motherfucker, if he goes to Villanova will win a title. Yeah. I guarantee it. In the next 3 years, he'll win a title.
Because here's what gets lost with Rick Pitino and the extra shit that comes with him. He's actually a great coach who also does the other shit.
He wins.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's down to do the Calipari bullshit while still being
is Calipari to a degree.
But he's a coach. But he has the Coach K level of basketball intelligence and coaching, right? Like, none of us think that Calipari is like the best X's and O's coach out there.
Well, and when you look at Rick Pitino looks like he's like Pat Riley in fucking college basketball.
Slick Rick, baby. Slick Rick.
Here. He's just like kind of this like presence. Like it's Rick Pitino. Like, and Rick Pitino, he coached in the NBA too, obviously. It wasn't very successful, but just like Cal, he did that. And it's funny that you even bring it because I'm like, damn, who is Villanova? Unless they like hire in-house, who could they just go and get? And I'm thinking to myself,
Will Wade.
Oh, you mean who just got fired from LSU after they fired his ass and they made the tournament and he didn't even coach the tournament game?
Sean Miller.
He got fired too from Arizona, right?
Well, yeah, but it's
you don't fall into a cushy job. Rick's done his time. I think that he's been blackballed long enough. Villanova should hire Rick Pitino.
You know what? I love where you took this. Like, yeah, bro, bring back Coach Pitino. We need him back on the main stage because he can outcoach these guys, and now he can pay for his guys legally.
Apparently, Jalen Brunson just got hurt too, by the way. But just saying. Let me see. Hold on. I'm about to type in Rick Pitino because I know that there's got to be an article about him having that now.
Dang, Tim Hardaway Jr.'s out too? This is inexcusable. It is totally inexcusable.
He's been hurt though.
I only follow a few teams, man. It's the playoffs now.
Hold on. I'm literally typing this in. I'm about to see because I know there's got to be an article speculating next coach for Villanova.
Rick Pitino versus Pitino. I don't care about that. I looked at something 23 hours ago. He just reacts to Jay Wright's surprise retirement.
Yeah, I typed that in. Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, we have nothing right now.
You hired the coach,
huh?
Hold on. No way. Hold on. They already hired the successor.
Oh shit! Who did they hire?
A black guy.
Good for him.
Kyle Neptune. He
works with Pharrell.
No, he's not. Neptune's presents the clones. So he's a coach at Fordham.
Okay.
Played at Lehigh. He was on the Villanova staff.
For a natty?
He was a video coordinator in 2008.
Okay, so he's supposed
to. But he went to Niagara as an assistant in 2010, then returned as staff in 2013. So he was from 2013 all the way to 2020. He was there. Then he took the job at Fordham. So he's only been at Fordham for a year or two with blah, blah, blah. Wow. Okay. Damn. I mean, good for the brother, I guess. Clearly he deserves it if they thought highly enough to the point of where he was there, left, went somewhere else, it's not like Fordham did shit.
No, they said that nigga. Hey,
And
somebody hire
he
Rick
was
Pitino.
37 too.
That nigga young. Somebody hire Rick Pitino.
I bet in a weird way. What's my man at us?
Bring him to Georgia. Didn't we just fire Tom Crean?
Well, he would definitely not get a good job like that. I mean, we saw what he did at Georgia. Georgia already is making noise. They hired Florida's coach.
Did we?
And they got the top transfer recruit.
Okay.
Already. They just signed him like yesterday.
I mean, I don't follow Georgia basketball, but
I saw it. They literally have they got the top guy that was in the transfer portal. He was he went to SMU, I think, or something. Okay. So he was like the top player. He was conference player of the year, almost averaging 20 a game. And it's like they got him to go to Georgia, and he got to retain their top two scorers who entered the transfer portal but decided to stay. So who knows? Georgia's probably not going to be a tournament team, but like
next year
at least. But like this guy might be able to build something.
Here's what the basketball program needs to do at Georgia: go talk to Kirby. And Kirby, we need to borrow Quavo, okay? And what we need to do is we need to get some football NIL shit that y'all just filter down to some of these basketball guys, so we can build a respectable program and beat Florida,
or be ballsy like Alabama and
throw the bag at somebody like Colin Sexton.
Funny enough, even with him, or Herb Jones, who's getting big minutes with the Pelicans,
or that other nigga that right after Auburn nigga.
That was one of Colin's teammates, Herb Jones, and he's been putting in work with them. I never, it's funny. I never even asked Colin why he signed with Alabama.
I can tell you. I
already had a good understanding of kind of why. And even from the outside looking in, from that perspective, well, Avery Johnson, is a 15-year NBA vet, and he coached the Mavericks in the NBA Finals. Like, this is somebody that was all throughout the NBA. What better of a guy could you go to? Not to mention Alabama being a football school. I bet that Nick Saban, money. Those were proven to be false. They never took money, but nonetheless.
No, I would never accuse him of taking money.
The NCAA did, and they lost. And so,
exactly. He may have found some money, but he didn't take anything. I don't think he got paid to go to Alabama. He wanted to go to Alabama.
Coach Brewer, may he rest in peace. Obviously, I had a very close relationship with him. He was damn near my Morehouse liaison. Like he's he's like we called him Uncle Grady. So, obviously best friends with my dad. But nonetheless, this is what Coach Brewer would tell us that they would do. What they do is they, McDonald's bag.
Yeah.
Might be walking on the street, might have just met up with them. And they say you just drop it and you just don't turn around. And at the end of the day, if you lose money, you don't get it back. You can go back and search for it, but
you're never getting you're not getting the money back either way. So if they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. Like that's just the name of the game. And thank God for NIL. And thank God for NIL, and for the coaches who are against NIL, retire, like Jay Wright, Coach K, and Roy Williams. But hey, Parlay Pete, it's been 2 hours. I love it. I ain't got nothing else for you, dog. Maybe we can link up next time I'm up that way, because if you're not too busy.
You gotta hurry. I won't be. I will definitely next time. You had a little loaded schedule yourself.
Yeah. No, it wasn't easy this time either.
But next, I know you're not coming up this weekend, but maybe next weekend we get something together, or you try and do the draft party.
No, man, I'm gonna be fucking traveling. Work's kicking my ass, bro. I gotta go back to Kansas.
Would have been great. We could have went to the draft party.
I know. I gotta go back to Kansas City. And then from Kansas City, I gotta go to Michigan. Like, not the cool part of Michigan either. Like South Canada, Michigan. Not excited about it at all.
I have no idea where that is, but good luck to you.
Me neither, man. Work keeps me busy. But hey, man, I'll talk to you later, doc.
All right, brother. Take care.
Yep.